It's been developed to understand how a person with dementia is feeling, in particular if they're in a state of emotional distress. This is important because many people with dementia struggle with communication. As a result, they experience unmet needs, and those unmet needs result in agitation and aggression, behaviours that can be quite challenging for carers. I know this because I went through it myself with my great-grandmother. She was the inspiration for this product. So the socks work by collecting physiological data from the foot and the ankle. We measure sweat through this knitted sensor here, which uses electrodermal activity or galvanic skin response to determine the person's physiological arousal. Through the tag on the ankle, we also measure pulse rate variability, skin temperature, and we have an inertial measurement unit in there, and we can understand patterns of gait, which is important for understanding how mobility is changing over time. So this is a dashboard that shows the physiological data from the socks. So here we see skin temperature collected at the ankle. We also have activity, which was determined over the past minute. Electrodermal activity, or galvanic skin response. Pulse rate and pulse rate variability, which aren't showing up because you need good skin contact, which I don't currently have with the sensor. And then we have linear acceleration and angular velocity, which are both types of motion data.
And what's angular velocity?
It's like a gyroscope.
Dementia affects all aspects of a person's life, so the types of innovations we're looking for kind of cover every part of the lived experience, and also the systems that support people living with dementia. I think one of the big interests for us at the moment is AI. I think there's a really strong possibility that AI can work as effectively a kind of cognitive prosthetic. The benefit of AI is that it will learn a person's regular rhythms, regular kind of habits, and grow with them as dementia progresses, helping people live more independently for longer, helping people live in their own homes for longer, things that we know are incredibly important for people living with dementia. So I think for a person living with dementia, it might look like an AI assistant, an AI avatar that is able to provide reassurance, but also provide direction for the day, provide guidance around medications, around kind of regular activities of daily living. And for carers, I think a lot of these innovations can help provide the reassurance that you want. My grandma had dementia, my mum had to kind of check in on her at all times to keep her living independently for as long as possible. There are a lot of devices here that don't get in the way of that personal contact, but do allow people to just see at the click of a button whether or not the person that they're caring for is okay at that moment in time, and I think that's a huge benefit for people caring for people living with dementia.
It's massive, yeah. So the hub itself is connected to the internet, and it sends data into our secure cloud system, which pulls all of the data for days, weeks, months, so that you can start to build up those trends about how your loved one is getting on. Everyone spent a good amount of time in the kitchen in the morning, meaning they've probably had a nice amount of breakfast. But also we can look at trends, and carers are always very interested in how their loved one's gone on overnight.
things that are patterned can often appear like they're moving, or they can look like they're hiding animals coming into the room, which then can create a risk of someone living with delirium. Or it can be things like shiny surfaces. Shiny surfaces can appear that they're wet, and so someone who's trying to get into the toilet may be afraid to do so because the reflections on the floor make them think they're going to slip and fall. So the other big piece is colour contrast. Many people, for example, find it really difficult to see the white light switches against a magnolia back wall. And using these empathy filters, we can show you how difficult it is to actually see these light switches. And then we show you how a simple adaptation by putting black masking tape around the light switch, all of a sudden, even with the conditions you're living with, it's perfectly visible and you're safe.